One. Hello, Ray, and welcome to our show. You
What's
are live.
up?
And how are you? How are
Hey,
you?
Lucky Chucky Chop
You
Shop.
know,
What's going on today, man?
it's a chop shop day. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, there's this. You can, like I say, I'm coming off of yesterday. Like walking into today, I said this is what the show would be about, and man, it's funny. I talked about yesterday. I said you got so many sunny days, and eventually it's got to rain. Have fun. Thank you, Jesus. Take care, buddy. We love you. Uh, you're gonna have so many days, and it's gonna be sunny, and then there's gonna come a day that's gonna rain, and my
But
clouds just listen. My clouds
uh,
got dark, but on the past side of them clouds, what I'm gonna tell you is why I'm sitting here thinking about it. Coming off what we were talking about before we went live, um, the sun's on the other side of them clouds, bro. Them clouds are just the time in between, and that's and to sit in my situation and say, you know what, man, what am I going to do? Man, I'm just going to sit right here. I was watching the Chosen series this summer, right? Like, so this is our last Wednesday podcast. We're gonna wrap some stuff up. I've been getting a whole lot more comfortable with myself while everybody else has been away. So, um, there's this spot. No, no, no. Listen, like there's this spot in the Chosen series, and I was just talking to a friend of mine. I've been going through a lot, like away from the show and the shop. Like my part, like you already know, bro. Like I've been like you said a couple of weeks ago. You going through some things, like, and I think that's on the Thanksgiving special. You're like, you just looked at me and you're like, you're going, like, dude, you were fighting some demons.
yeah.
Yes, I was going through some things that was a lot harder than I really wanted to open up and talk about. And then when I did, seemingly how have friends that I could talk to when I opened up on it. I looked at it from a different perspective by the time I got done because it was typically somewhere in their response, like you had, that I'm like,
hmm
damn, no matter how much I try to not eat from the other tree, some days I still do it to myself.
Yeah.
And coming into right now, like, dude, you know what it is? It's owning a business. Like, this is the part I always talk to people about. Like, you're going to have faith. You're gonna believe. Like it doesn't matter how it looks. You know how many times I've had, dude? I've had my back to the wall. I've had my stuff taken from me, people steal from me. Like I've been through some bad days. I'm not in such a position to where I should be so stressed out, but sometimes that it comes in all at once. Mm. And I've done what I thought was my best this year to give back and do as much as I could. Um, I had hoped for way more than what I'm seeing the results of. I'm down. All somewhere in working, all these young gentlemen have gotten in their head that they all of a sudden they deserve. And so I was like, all right, fine. So I backed off of them for a few weeks, and I'm like, if they feel like they're going to deserve, they're going to step up and work. Dude, they didn't work. I was busy doing other things in the shop, taking care of the other stuff, and what I was bankrolling. And then I got a phone call today from YouTube, and they said they're delaying the project 3 to 4 months before anything else happened today when me and you start talking.
Huh.
And I'm like, what am I going to do, right? And as soon as I started thinking about that, this year I went through this chosen group, and Peter, before he meets Jesus, is like, I, everything Peter had done up to that point had blown up in his face, and standing here, I'm like, God, don't make me go through what Peter went through. Don't make me have to deny you 3 times for my own
Mm.
life. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely at the spot where in the movie, and whether it's true or not, but just to give some background and feel like, there's so many overly church people that are like, well, not everything was perfectly exactly scriptural. I'm like, well, neither's everything in your marriage either. So why don't you back off and shut your mouth for a second? Like I'm done with people who immediately, as soon as you say, "Hey, man, I seen something good," they say, "Yeah, but there's something bad in everything."
Yeah.
Like, that's the quality of it. Like, the Bible said He makes it rain on the just and the unjust. Like, things happen to both freaking sides. So many people I know claim to believe, and they don't show any grace to other people in their lives. I'm like, damn, bro, I can't. I don't know how to be a better me to help you be a better you, but I'm trying.
Hmm.
I'm not going to tell you what you did wrong. I'm going to take it and look at it inwardly and say, how can I be better? How can I influence better? And that's what even when we took the stuff with the kids, like I said, when this has been a slow rolling mass for a minute for me. At this point, I'm on a podcast. I'm hoping I at least get famous so I can pay bills. But that aside, it's like, man, it's just I saw it coming. I've owned a business long enough, man. When you're in the industry long enough, and if I would have had this year and been able to have it at my last shop, I probably would have a house by now. The cost of it having what people thinks is so easy is exactly what it's cost me. Up to this point, but I look at it and say, well, that sounds bad. It's only 8 months.
Right.
That's a jump on faith on $37. I didn't come this far for it to be over. I came this far for it to rain. That's how you're walking and living in purpose. Because even when it looks like it's going to be bad, God's going to show up. You can't out God. And I've went through this entire year, and there's so much on the backside of what looks like a temporary moment in my life. Because not everybody else can see the vision. Not everybody else can see the goal. Not everybody else can feel what's inside me, and I'm not, whether I was here or I was in Florida or if I'm back home in Ohio, or it doesn't matter where I go. I'm not going to stop telling people what God's brought me from. So when I started 43 years ago to where 44, the year number 44 started, like, I'm not, this is the moment in my life that I can look back and say, that's where everything changed. If you knew me, I'll never go back I'm going to still have to fight some things. I'm still having to walk away from some problems. I'm not perfect. I'm not one of those people who just magically was born and never sinned, think they've never done anything wrong and everything's always been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not one of those people who thinks that I've done some things wrong, and I'm not wrong for it. Like, I still do some things that I don't like about myself. We can agree with that, right? Like, we were talking about that earlier. But I'm definitely doing all I can to walk away and continue to become a better person than what I was a year ago. There's no, bro, a year ago, it looked like I was losing everything. It was a couple days past that. That from that to this one. So where am I at now? Like, I don't. How's it? What's next from here? The work's still got to be finished. Things still have to be taken care of, and there's no stop to the grind. There's no union labor force. There's no financial backer at this place. There's not somebody. I don't have credit card debt and everything else. I've done it all on good faith and contracts. And this has been the most amazing year of my life, no matter how it ends out, because I'm going to stand on this property, play my dad's guitar, and thank God for the bad days, because the kind of bad days that He gives you once you're living and believing in Him are nothing like the ones you came out of when you weren't.
But you also got to look at these rainy days, man. Rain is it's not a negative.
No, rain is not a negative.
Negative.
No, rain is not a negative. The position, though, that is to sit there and look at it and say, hey, man, if you've ever been up north and watched the crops grow, right? They're gonna get a rain for a little while, and then it's gonna dry up. It's gonna be kind of nice. You're gonna get some sunny days, It's going to stay a little wet, right? It's going to be prolonged, and that's just the way the corn grows. Like you get up, and you go out there and you break up the ground, you throw all the seed down, but you got a real rainy season in the spring, and you got a long dry summer that saturated soil is pulling from to get that kind of corn, right? And the
Right.
low lying areas of the field, nothing ever really grows right in because it stays too wet. And the areas that are too high up, they don't do so well because they don't really get enough water because it's too far down. But the better and flatter and cleaner that field is and the way it's laid out, or if you've got the drainage running the right way, the way your rows are planted. Like I sat around my dad's dad, Grandpa Fritz, and man, he'd take us out there, and dude, we had 14, I think it was 14 acres of corn. We picked it by hand,
Yeah. Whew.
every last bit of it, carried it in newspaper sacks back to the John Deere tractor that was like a 1940s model or 30s model, whatever it was. Um, he had two baskets on the side. You had to put your corn in there, walk back to wherever the heck you were. Oh, slave labor. Oh, the child labor. Hmm. And then when you're done, you had to take it all back, stack it all up, get up early the next 2 days, sit out on the side of the road, go sell corn, go to the
Yeah.
local market. And the thing was, like, my grandfather was retired. He was an engineer for the state of Kentucky. He was military. Like he divorced my grandmother, um, or my grandmother divorced him in I want to say 1963. And I've still got their divorce papers. It's literally two sheets. This is how far society's come. It's two sheets of paper, double spaced, typed out on a typewriter. It was that simple. You're divorced. Fritz, she's got custody of these three kids, and this is your child support payment. And I can tell you this much: I may not always agree with my aunts or the other side of my family, but coming out of my grandparents, my grandfather was a stand-up man for somebody who got divorced under the kind of conditions he did, for the kind of shit ass person my grandmother was.
Mm.
My family don't want to say that. She was a drunk. She used to beat the shit out of my dad. She'd put him in bath soaps. She'd put like Tide water, something other in the bathtub. I mean, she was a drunk, abusive ass, mean drunk. And my grandfather was never mean to her, never said a bad word about her, nothing. And he knew that while they were going through, his kids were going through that, he had to maintain to be the man he had to be while paying those bills. But as the kids got older, my two aunts and my dad ended up living with my grandfather in a little 1 bedroom apartment. And the two girls got the bedroom, and my dad slept on the couch, a pull out couch, and my grandfather slept in a chair. And he raised those kids that way. Like, when you realize where you came from, like, the seed inside, like the person you are inside you, that moves you and and who you are. Like, that's taking a look at myself as I step into the ministry this next year is like, really been about a lot about, man, where did I come from? Where's my beliefs? Where's my deep root at? Where am I in this family tree lineage that God has placed me in to have me to cause these feelings without somebody telling me, you know? And I look at people like my grandfather, who him and his uncle, or my uncle brother, his brother, Frederick and Fritz. So they're German.
Right.
We're German. They left Germany because of the Nazi stuff. And we took on the last name of Rogers. Like, which on that side ends up being something way back into England and, I don't know, founding family of, the United States. And it's like, and this is what I'm saying, for me, no matter how the America looks right now, like, that's what I'm trying to get into. As it looks right now, there's too much left and too much right. Now we got them coming out and saying, the CDC saying, well, we don't know. And if you're sick or if you're short staffed, maybe we can overlook it now. Like, come on, man. Y'all done screwed us for 2 years straight. People who are blue and red don't see it that way. They see it as two parties doing it that way. I see it as both y'all been sitting in them places together, and you let it happen to all of us. Here's the biggest problem with America. Believers. No, check me out, bro. I don't know if we talked about this the other day or not. Did I tell you about this? believers in America. The problem we have is we don't have any
Yeah.
believers in America. We don't have any believers in America. If we had believers in America who were voting for believers who are running for office, we could actually start changing this place. And it might start small and it might take us a couple of years of going through some shit, but we don't actually have a church body that stands up in America 100% because everybody's too scattered about selling Jesus in their own temples. Come on. You know I'm right.
I don't know. You have the evangelical white. That's a force.
I'm saying no. I'm saying, and what I'm saying about the evangelical white is I don't think they're correct.
Okay.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Yep, I said that out loud. I don't think they're right. And I'll tell you why. Because if they were living in the right way and doing things in the right situation, don't you think the evangelical right would have already spent enough time with the demonic left that they claim is so bad and started winning people over to their side, or at least showing some sort of peace between the two? Listen, you can't complain about what's going on in downtown Houston while you sitting out here living in a nice place outside of the place. You can't keep telling people that you're going to go into the places and work and how much you promise them if you really ain't putting that work in. I just come down from downtown. Like, dude, we went to LKQ today. I've been down on Hiram Clark, bro. We went to the west side of Houston, went down to the other one. I'm down picking parts for this thing. I know this snowball's rolling. I got a life outside of this. And while I'm walking through these things, I'm taking time to look in my spirit and say, God, who can I talk to today? Tell me who to minister to us. I'll walk through this yard. If you tell me there's a young man in here, I don't care who it is, but God, I didn't come here looking for a transmission. But you've brought me out into this place in a situation. Is there someone here who needs to talk? Walk past people, nobody say anything. Stand still for a second. People started showing up to where we were, seeing what we were doing. You know why? Because we don't look different. We're different than everybody else. We're three white boys, middle of the day, south side of an old raggedy truck with a couple of shop shirts on, out there hustling, trying to find a bargain just like everybody else. And that's why that's why I love and embrace that community so much. And I hate the fact that they're so displaced by people's, like, they're the purpose that they serve and what they do here. I'm sorry, when I go to those places, I ain't met somebody who's not hustling. And I know that I'm not meeting everybody who's here because they got papers or they got rights. But I can tell you that whatever they're going through to have to be in these places to go through those kind of hustles, I respect, because I'm trying to get it too. I'm trying to get some of that American money. It's just like you are. Well, I'm going to hate you for. I'm out there trying to hit out business cards, trying to work with people. Hey, the one dude goes, "What you do?" I pulled the stuff up on my phone, showed him my stuff, showed him my welds. He's like, hey, so I got an Impala. I was like, come on. Like, because I've met people. Let me tell you something. I've met people who look like they didn't have nothing, and they walked into my shop and have pulled out larger sums of money than I've ever seen anybody show up in my place who say they got money. I've had people come in and flash money and talk money. I've had other people not say a word, get up to pay their bill, and they getting out bags of money, trying to sort for the small bills that I need. And it's those. If anything, man, you never know where that customer is going to be. And for me, that's what it's about. It's about making just not that customer, that client, but that's that relationship. You know what I mean? Like that's what the basis of this shop is for. It's so crazy that I end up in a place that says Steve's Automotive, because that's my dad's name. Like, I don't know how that even happens for anybody. But let's just take, for instance, that the once in a lifetimes that stacked up for me, exactly how high they are. That's cool, bro. This is what my father talked about. My dad wanted to have a shop that had an outreach to help and, picking people up. The difference is we have this place, but I have all the other businesses that I tried to start along the way. Like I see the place as something so much more different, because my dad would be it's about getting planted and growing outward, and everything's just going to take some time. But right now, I'm just trying to sit down and say, God, you've given me all this, and even if you take it away, I'm still going to praise you. Because everybody has a point that in your life that you felt at today, you can look back and say, man, I don't know if I was going to make it through that, but I did. And sometimes you feel like you made it through it because you was on your own. You know, like the footsteps in the sand with the two people walking, and Jesus said, "Hey, what's that?" And they said, "That's the times that's where you left me." And Jesus said, "No, that's where I was carrying you. That's where things was easy. It wasn't having to walk, right?" And that's at times where things are good, and far too often we take that for granted. Um, but I love the fact that no matter what's happening today, it's not my end, and my story is greater than this. You know, that's the one thing that like I say, seeing my life through a different view of how my problems were. You know, in my life for all these years, of my life, my problems looked one way, and even today when we talk, you're like, man, I don't know, you know, that's going to cause. I'm like, I can't change. I can't change what the problems are.
Excuse me.
So thank you.
Man.
I can't change what the problems are. If you're telling me there's a problem and there's two of us there, that means there's two of us who have to work on that problem. Because I don't ever remind. I've never went to somebody else and told them like I've got a problem unless I said that I have a problem. I wanted something worked on. Like if you telling me we have a problem, then offer me a solution to the problem. Don't just expect for me to fix it without communication, right? And I don't think, like I said, back to the evangelical right. If they'd spend more time trying to be a little more like me and you, and a little less like themselves and so full of themselves, we see a different world. That's what my hope is, bro. You want to tell me my New Year's resolution is for 2022? I hope
What's
people
that?
start changing. I want to. God help me. I'm saying, God help me to be the thing somebody else sees that they can say, I want to change something about myself too. Because far too many good people are walking around right now, still not liking themselves, and they causing toxic issues and toxic problems. And we have a society that, as long as it continues to grow past wherever we talk about it today, will continue to evolve into something that me and you can both agree that we don't like, bro. So how do we help change that? We break the bread every day. We talk about it every day. We talk about the things that are a little more difficult. And for me, I was, we kind of established that on Wednesdays it's going to be, me and you, and if Jesus can chime in, great. If not, if we have somebody who wants to come on, we'll let them on and take care of that when they come on here. But we've gotten to a point where we're kind of controlling this. We got a good. I like this, bro. Almost a year up.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on. And I'm feeling good. Like I'm feeling good. Like I feel normal, natural. I was able to do a couple of things on my own, but it's because of the growth process. You got to get outside your comfort zone.
Right.
You can't stand comfortable and grow. You can look at yourself all day in the mirror. You can spend an hour and 45 minutes in the gym, and an hour and 28 minutes of those you'll be standing there looking at yourself. And you're gonna tell me you go to the gym and work out. Anybody who tells me to go to the gym and work out on regular, you ain't looking good already. You looking at yourself, bro. You working the mirror out, not you. And if you're doing all that and you're still not changing, I mean, me and Ray will both sit here and look at you and say, then you lying because your diet ain't right.
Right.
It's not. Hey, listen, if you don't even work out right, but your diet's on point, your body won't change. So we're here to help you understand. You got to stop lying to yourself first and foremost. Right? I mean, that's what you want to tell your clients. I've had friends of mine who call me females, and they're like, well, I know you used to, blah, blah. Nah, shut up. Listen, you just want me to nullify the fact that you want to say, and I would tell them this. I'm like, what do you pay your trainer for? Check this out. What do you pay your trainer for? What do you go to your church pastor for? Like, why do you go and attend the places that you're going to? Why do you participate in the things that you in your life, and express that across every situation and think about it for a second? And I said, why are you mad about your trainer? She's like, well, he tells me to do this, this, and this, and I didn't lose. And this is the same story from every woman. I didn't lose enough weight. They're so focused on weight, they can't understand body mass index for a second. So they don't get that comparison. Like if you make thicker muscles, you can weigh a lot less and not look as big. But I don't know. That's between them and Jesus. I don't know. Help them out with that, right? But they would go in and then say, well, what happened? Well, you didn't eat right. You're crying on the phone, drinking a glass of wine. I'm not going to side with you. I'm your friend. But yeah, you messing up. Like, and here's the thing is, when you pay somebody, like you're taking time out of your day to pay this person, you didn't ask them as a friend to just do it for you. Right? But you're paying them. At a certain point, they need you to have growth too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you're not being a part of that growth and it's starting to upset you that you're not being a part of the growth that they need on the opposite side, then you're disrespecting your relationship. Now
But
apply that to everything else.
I always look at it more of will. It's just the will of, and you say willpower, but the main thing is if somebody says, "Hey, look, I want you to do this, this, and this is going to help you get those results. If you want to lose weight, you have to do this, this, and this to get those type of results." But I find so I've worked out. I worked out with dudes religiously, man. We worked out for years together, man. And the only difference was whenever I said, "Okay, it's time for me to do a competition," the only difference was between me and them because I worked out with them was the food. So I was like, man, you could do the same thing. You can move, you can change your body, but it's about the willpower. And whenever I see people that don't lose weight, man, the majority of it to me is just the willpower, the ability to be able to say no to something, and the ability to really be with a higher goal in mind.
Um, buddy, yeah, a
Yeah,
higher goal of mine. I like that. I'm with you. Here's the thing: is we were talking about this earlier. So here's the higher goal of mine, right? While you're having that conversation, um, is to be able to go live on the different feeds, right? Like I can't, I got to have this RMS code to put it on here, but this is my TikTok. So give me a minute. I don't know where we're at, but seriously, we're 26 minutes in. We know we're going to do at least
yeah.
an hour. So, um, yeah, how do I get my TikTok to upload? I'm sorry, I'm been kind of all over the place, but man, I'm trying to decompress, bro. Hey, and here's the deal: is what I've agreed to, what we've agreed to, right? Is thank you, and you free to always hit my pause button on the other side, but um, is this is what this is. Like I want to get back to where it's man. I don't look. There's people who are going to watch this, but this is a conversation between me and you.
Uh-huh.
Wednesday's my conversation with Ray. Like we sat at the table, like this is what we did, and this is what we wanted to share with people. We wanted to share with people that real. And 2 years ago, I was a conspiracy theorist, and today we're
Still
talking
is,
about
still is.
variants, and you know, um, but yeah, man, this is like I said, this is it, bro. Like, this is the ministry for me. Like I've looked back at it and realized, like I've spent a year grinding on a field that I didn't realize this is what the overall of what God was, asking me to do. Just stay faithful about this. Stay faithful about the show. Stay on it. Stay with it. There's people out there who need to hear it, and this isn't for everybody. This is for people who are believers, and it's a very open ended conversation so that we can sharpen each other and say, hey, none of us are doing it right. God's leading us towards what's right, but He ain't never going to make one of us be the only person that's telling everybody how to go. Okay. And because when you get to where there's a one person telling everybody exactly how to believe, that's when you actually have the Antichrist, right? People are far too sitting in these churches, and I say coming from where I was at and trying getting into where we're going. The first thing people is, hey, are you starting a church? I said, no, bro, I'm not starting a church. I'm just extending the ministry outreach. That's it. Like this is I'm going to stay going where I'm going. I love Hope City, love the people. I love what they're doing with people. Um, then everybody's got a story, right? Like I mean, I got to meet the guy in the parking lot the other day. Um, Man, Joey can't wait to see what how Joey's life turns out because I hope I'm at a point now where I've at least had conversation that if he ever hits low again, he calls me. Yeah. You ever been there? Somebody says, hey, you trust it. You know what? I know this, but if you want to trust somebody, call this guy. Like this guy's got time. Like, I may be busy, but call this person. And you know what it's like when somebody else turns around and it's like a clientele person to you and they say, hey, I might be busy, but if you want to talk to Ray, man, my boy Ray got you. Or if you go in someplace and you got introduced and you need anything, it's my buddy right here. Like this dude's got you. And that helps that next person to have interaction with you. It grows your resources, your business, your life, and everything else around you. But I don't want to stop doing this.
Right.
I love interaction with people, and whatever it takes, I trust God's going to keep this going. And I'm at a crazy faith moment right now. Like I'm even with my buddy Dave. You know, um, that evening itself is a lot, and then to know that he's here today. uh I don't I'm still trying to digest that for myself. But I thought we lost him. I really thought
Yeah.
we lost him, and then he gets up and he's fine. Then a couple days later, he goes and falls off a bike and smacks his face, and it's like whatever probably was going to happen to him. It's like it still hurt him. I'm like, Dave, you got to slow down. And I got concerned, and I felt like God said, "Don't worry about it." And I slowed him down. He's good because
Mm.
hey, listen, it, if you pray and in careful, but if you're praying for somebody else's life and you want them to get better, God's going to do something to make things better, and it's better for them, not better for you. Far too often we pray that God do something in somebody else's life so it makes things better for us, instead of praying that whatever happens to them makes it better for them. You know, I'm trying to. There's just a lot that I think that we fail to do as individuals, as a church body, as a group of believers, and we don't talk about it. That's what this show's for. I went through plenty of instances in my life when I was a young man that I wish that older gentlemen in my church would have not been such big pansies and actually had gentleman conversations in front of us. Would have made it been easier to deal with the world, even if the world they were dealing with wasn't as crazy as the ones that we all had to live in.
Mm.
I'm serious, man. There's so many things looking back that I was like, I felt like I believed in a bunch of fantasy fairy tale. Like I just that's not the way it is. Like, and they didn't prepare us for it. No, bro. The kids that come out of the Midwest, bro, were screwed. So screwed. But I see a difference in a lot of people. I got family members who I love when they come here because they feel like they're at home, and I love when I go there, I can still feel like I'm at home. You know, uh, it's growing up, I never thought I'd leave that small town I grew up in. I thought I was going to stay in Hamilton, Ohio, for the rest of my life. Like I was just good old, you know, good old Chuckster, good old Chucky, you know, and I've gotten a chance to sit back, and there's probably people who don't know it, but like I've silently rooted for them, you know, on the side, and watched some of the people I grow up with. I've seen some people have some really bad lives. Facebook is one of the things that's helped us keep intact with each other. Um, but I've seen some other people have some pretty amazing lives, bro. And I love the fact that the friends that I see who have amazing lives, um, I'm able to talk to them, contact them, have conversations. Like my buddy Matt Claver, the dude, he shares this art stuff that he does. Why he's not bigger than Bob Ross, I don't know, but the guy's talented. I'm serious, man. And because there's nothing he can't do. It's all creative art to him. It's not like just oil based paints or pencils or like it doesn't matter what he touches. Like his hands are so gifted by God that it just pours out of his body. Like I don't know how to explain that, man. It's really cool. And he's been like that since he was a little kid. Like everybody else is little in class. We're like drawing stick figures. His people have facial expressions and wrinkles in their eyes.
Mm.
It's like it's a stick figure. Like, how'd you fit all that on this little bitty head that was like, that small? Guys, but and there's several others who do some cool stuff, or their kids are like tattoo artists, and they just don't do crappy tattoos. Like some people are like, oh, I know a guy who's a tattoo artist. Like you do. Like, yeah. What you should have got him for Christmas? Some pigskin to practice on. Maybe some crayons. Go back to the starting point. He ain't got it yet. He definitely ain't got it yet. Give me a second. I think my dog got out. Hey. Oh, you out here with him? All right. My bad. She's out there with Post. Yeah. So what do you think, man? What do you think? What do you think of the new year? Like, what do you think? Any kind of things you think is going to happen? Like, where are you at? Like, wrap this year up for me. We can agree that we've all been shammed at this point, right?
We've all been what?
We've all been shammed. Like
Shammed at what?
This whole thing, bro. When they come out and said, listen, when the federals come out and was like, it's only a state problem. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Like, why y'all trying to pin states against each other?
But
I see it as
but they
they
no, they
said
did
this,
that before. They did
so,
the same. They did that initially, where they made people try to get supplies. It was state versus state.
and
So
they
it'd
just
been
put it
like
back
that.
on state versus state.
Well, so it'd been like that. I
Well,
hadn't
I'm gonna
heard
say
about
this
that
much. Hey,
recently.
listen, if I'm looking at it as a state versus state place, then I think the best place to have jobs and increase and make money would be the places where the ports are. And if you don't want to change things where the stuff's coming in and we can't get it going through, see what I'm saying? Like that's where we need actual people who stand up and say they're believers to be believers. I'm saying there's some good people on the left who believe that just aren't believing enough. And there's some good people on the right who are believing. These places need to change, bro. Like, listen, when the federal government steps down, this is what I like about it. When the federal government come out and goes, okay, we're going to back off and it's now y'all's problem. Okay, let me tell you what you've done. You've made a public statement to say it's back on us to change. Fine. Find somebody in your hometown, get into a believing place, start being start being the cure to the problem, and the root problem of America right now is broken families and broken homes and people who just can't seem to get along for their kids' sake. Like um uh we can't change everything until we change. Nothing's going to happen, bro, until we continue to teach, and it's like to teach past the generation that we're at, and look at the next couple generations and say, okay, let's say God does hold off for a little while. Let's say the over believing church people and the revelations and everything. Let's just say for a second that Jesus ain't going to come back right this second. Let's say you got another 30 years. Don't say you got another 30 years because you want to be comfortable and say I got 30 years to get myself right. No, what you should look at is say I'm getting myself right, and I want to help 30 more years to getting other people to get themselves right. Right? But you're supposed to start doing that today, like every day. It's not happening. We're not doing that. Mm. So it's very bothersome to me. Like, like as I come, here's the thing is every minister I've seen up to this point, when they step out, somebody got something to say about every church, about every preacher. Not everybody likes everybody. I've seen guys that I'm like, man, that's a really good preacher. And I get on TikTok and I see somebody else razzing the guy and they take one little thing he said out of context. And I'm like, well, not everybody's got the Jesus thing right, bro. But I think that guy's trying. And here's the deal is if I didn't think he was trying right, instead of complaining at me, I would actually send the guy an inbox, find a DM, send the guy an email. Go have a conversation with that person. But stop spreading your hate for them all over everybody else because you confused because you ain't get along with whatever they said.
Hmm.
I'm speaking to the church, bro. Like this is who I'm talking to. Wake up. I still feel like I'm an unlikely source to show up and have to tell everybody else, like, hey, man, Jesus is asking all of us to do things a little differently. There's 7 letters written to 7 churches. I meant to read that tonight online before we close out. Like, um, and the crazy thing is, like, that's been a lot of conversation with people I know that believe. I talked to a lot of people, and some people I know are very uneasy. And I'm saying, listen, understand something. If you know that things are bad, don't stress.
Hmm.
Start helping other people. Start at home. Change your attitude with your spouse. Number one, change your attitudes towards each other. Change your attitudes towards your children, towards your baby's mama, towards your job, and everything else. Start looking at life in a different way because where you're at today, thank you, my friend. Um, your situation could always be worse. We always know somebody who's in a worse situation than we are. We always know people who are probably in a better situation than we think that we feel that we are, but we don't know their situation. But there's plenty of people that we all look at and go, man, I'm glad I'm not going through that. I got a friend that calls me. He goes, man, I love that my life's going bad. I call you. I was like, why? He goes, because I know no matter how bad it is, God's already told me he's got he's just hold on. He goes, I always feel better about myself. It's like that's not very funny. But Jimmy, my bodybuilder friend, right? Like, because Jimmy goes through a lot of life. Like I don't know that anybody's going to listen to this at any point in time that it matters. But my buddy Jimmy, like he's a good dude, bro. But he just has a life and he has a personality. And I had girlfriends who used to call him and be like, hey, I'm dating your buddy down here in Texas. And he's like, yeah, I am. Well, I see you, buddy. And I said, he goes, okay, what do you want me to do about it? And she's like, well, he's done this, this, and this. He's like, well, that's just terrible. That's just horrible. And she's like, well, why don't you do something about it? He goes, for what? She goes, well, you're his friend. He goes, yeah, but I don't sleep with him.
Yeah, right.
And then they would come back and tell me what he said. And I'm like, that's Jimmy. Like, I'm sorry, but those are the friends that I chose. Like, if you go to one of my friends, like they solid people. This is why they're my people. And that's why I don't judge them for their lives. Right. You somewhere inside yourself, you got to make sure there's at least a few people to carry you that the day ever comes that you need to. I wouldn't want to be that kind of lonely. Find yourself a few friends.
Right.
There got to be somebody out there that actually likes you, And if you don't think there is, stop looking. You're in the wrong places. Like, seriously, show up at the shop. We like everybody. We'll make you. Well, you'll be welcome here. We don't. I don't. There's. That's it. I love when people come in. I sat here the other day. I had several customers come in. They're like, "Is this Steve's Automotive?" And I was like, "No, Steve's is down the street." Looking at the way things are, I should have said at this point, bro. From this coming in next year, Steve's here. Actually, how can I help you? What exactly is your mishap that's had to bring you in today? Let's take a look at that. Maybe sure we diagnose the rest of it. But how long has it been? Like, and I hadn't put time into those kind of jobs because I've been doing everything else. Going into the next year, I actually have people trained to do the jobs that I used to have to do, so I don't have to do everything myself anymore. Like, this is the best position I've ever been in from a labor standpoint, from a hustle standpoint. We went out there today. We walked them yards, bro. We looked all over trying to get whatever we needed. We finally got done. Guy walks by. I was like, I'll have that engine out in a few minutes. I don't know. I'm like, dude, I brought my impacts with me. Everybody else around here carrying. I hear a few people out here with these little. No. I brought pro stuff today, bro. I'm climbing there and cutting stuff, they're snipping it off. Alan's on top, and they're not just taking every wire and disconnect, like cutting everything. He's going through unplugging real quick, and the other guy walks by and goes, "Oh, hold on." And he jumps in, and he's like, "Let me get that wiring harness. You guys taking it with you?" Well, I wasn't planning on it. It's not like I didn't bring a bag big enough to stick it in. If you did, if you need it, I don't know what to tell you, but don't do it in front of me. Anyway. He climbs in, takes the harness out, and Alan's like, that is the rudest stuff I've ever seen in the junkyard. He goes, you let the other guy pick through, and then you proceed. He's like, what a jerk. What the guy didn't realize is I was actually pulling the whole engine and transmission out. So if he just shut up for a second, 15 minutes, bro, that everything was disconnected, unplugged, ready to go. And we waited like an hour and a half for somebody to come back out with a fork truck. Finally, I walked all the way to the other end of the place. Alan done walked up there. We done heard him talking to walkie-talkies, and they were like, we don't know what you're talking about. All right, I'm going looking for the boss. I need this today.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting any longer. Today is the day. I walked all the way down there, opened the door, and lady's like, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for Miguel. She's like, you don't look like you belong. Well, what do you need? I'm like, well, he needs to come pull this engine. She radios for me. He's like, yeah, I've already pulled an engine. I was like, no, he didn't. Blue Chevrolet by the front door. I was like, I done talked to every boss up there and everybody else. Like, today's the day that we're going to talk about how this business is ran. Or you can pull this engine out for me. Don't make me go Karen in here. Yeah. Nah, she was nice, bro. But I'm sitting there the whole time, right? Chewing. My thoughts are just chewing me up. If I got to say something to somebody, I was just upset, man. I'm like, dude, do me a favor, bro. Like, everything's disconnected. The guy said, if you can do all this for me. I was like, cool, 15 minutes. He leaves, comes back. He's not on his truck. I'm like, what are you doing? He said, oh, it's time for me to clock out. You said, I told you 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes, boy. You should have drove that truck back up out here. Anyway, he called that guy. Unless I'm still waiting. I was like, oh. But I got to enjoy the day. I had a great day in the junkyard, bro.
Yeah.
Great day. There's nothing like going through old vehicles full of junk. Like, I know what I'm looking for. I think, well, I don't know how big the two places are. Probably I'll look it up, but it's quite a good walk. I was hustled. I was sweating. I had a good fat boy sweat going out there.
It was like 80 degrees today, right?
Man, well, and you know what the bad part is I had overcast and I was outside and I already saw some sun. Like, I just got my hair done again. I have some sunspots and I've been treating this other one. Oh, mercy. I'm already feeling a slight, like, this is definitely going to be a cocoa butter night for me. Yeah, this is gonna be an aloe and cocoa butter. Like my poor little white head burns so fast. I burn faster than a white tip match, bro. Swear. It is, man. I feel my whole crown, whole top of that joker's on fire. I don't know how I ended up this way. Absolutely not. 45 minutes. Anyhow, I still have the other
Yeah.
build backed up. We still got other cars backed up after the first year. And I got the you got frozen.
Yeah. I don't know why. Sitting there
I
looking at
can't see.
myself frozen. All
There
right,
you
there
go.
we go. Huh.
Um, I got the stuff that's in here. I done pretty much started calling everybody who owes me money. I'm like, all right, man, it's been long enough, bro. If I, and trust me, if you listen to this and I ain't called you yet, your phone call's coming. God bless you. It's
Thank you,
time.
sir.
This is a full participation sport, people. Like, this is a family shop. You part of the family. I need you to get in. Mercy. But yeah, it's wild, bro. Like it's crazy. I say going down there today, handing out cards. Don't let it, don't let it go down. You know, there ain't no listen. I don't think there's any reason in overly stressing about anything in your life because when you lay down tonight, like I say it over and over again, when my eyes closed, you don't know if you're coming back. You better deal with it before you go to sleep. If it's bugging you today, don't let it go in until tomorrow. Especially if you're a believer. It's bothering you. Get up and talk about it. Make resolve before you go to sleep. The word of God says what? It says don't let the sun go down on your anger.
Yeah.
Right? You're supposed to go make good with everything before you go to bed. And if you ain't doing that, if you hold on to some things and not dealing with it beforehand, or and letting it carry on day in and day out, then those problems are a lot bigger than what you really want to probably talk to anybody else about too. And we're all going through it. All going through it.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a um hold on. So
Yeah, yeah.
I got my kid. Um, yeah, trying to get. He's growing up on me. That's all. He's growing up on me, bro. It wasn't. Those days are coming. He's got. It's kind of cool now that we've got some running vehicles. So in the day he's able to jet out. I got one car. He's got the other one. I've been able to drive Ginger around a little bit, put some miles on her.
Yeah.
Throttle body position sensor still acting up. So tune seems to be pretty good. She's pretty once she gets where she's in a happy spot and the electronics are working right, she fires off like a mad girl, bro.
Yeah.
Getting her up to that spot. I'll still have to take you for a ride one day. Yeah. I'm still, and I'm not totally certain I like the clutch yet. So but it seems like it's holding pretty good. Been a couple times I think it's just out of adjustment because I'm pushing to the floor and it's still got a little heat and smoke coming off of it.
Yeah.
The gear shifts get a little chunky all of a sudden. So 2022, yeah. There's the New Year's Eve stuff going on at the shop. Cruise in, so I'm still going to have to cruise in. Still have an open door thing.
What
Um,
time? What time does that kick off?
2 o'clock. So
Okay.
from 2 to 6, and then from like 6 to 8, we're going to kind of transition over into um, New Year's Eve setup. And I got a few people I know. Post Malone's got a few friends. I got some family members are going to show up.
Yeah.
I don't really have a fire pit out there. I don't think big enough to kind of stand around, but I don't know. We're gonna move. I'm gonna move the TV out, put it on a stand, put a thing up. Just give everybody a chance to talk about, like instead, like what I mean. Going into the new year, like if you show up, like it's really about having the opportunity to take a chance to like, hey man, this is me. This is who I am. Um, this is what I like to see myself become, and just take a moment to say, hey man, we just want to pray with you that God would bless you in that way. And now who wants to take another chance to talk, like how far do you want to go? Like I know for 43 years I thought I was following Jesus 100%. I thought everything was okay. I walked into this year, and I'd gotten my head rocked off of me when I got saved. I'm just a few days away from when I got baptized, and when I when you came back in and saw me, and you were like, "Man, what happened?" I don't exactly know how to explain it. I just know it's something that's inside me now,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that it's gone the way it has. Like it's not been a bad year. I've had some bad years. I've had some tragic times in my life. This is one year that I walk into and shut out that I say, no, this was a growth year. This was a powerful year. This was something I can build off of. You know, I found my weaknesses. I found my strengths. You know, I tried some things. I learned how to let some things. I learned how to let a lot of things go. Like that was um and even now, like going into the new year, I'm gonna do the whole new year thing with everybody else. I'm gonna do the whole 90-day picture, see what I actually look like. I'm gonna hold myself honest.
Oh
I got
yeah.
like what else am I gonna do, bro?
Yeah, I didn't know you were gonna jump on that.
No, what else am I gonna do? I like to be in better shape. I, my skin might need it, but if nothing else, being back in the gym, I won't be smoking cigarettes. So
So I did that last year, man. I did
yeah,
one of those challenges, and we did it for a pot, and I won the pot because I changed my shape in a month's time. So I said I was gonna do it again anyway. I'm gonna jump on it, and it won't be a month. I'm gonna do it for 2 months because my whole goal was to once I hit 50 is to have my abs, at my 50th birthday party. So
my 45th would be nice. It's 8 months.
yeah, man.
Yeah, 30 days. 30 days starts a habit. 90 days sets you in tone.
2 weeks
Six
starts a
months.
habit.
No,
30 days, you can get into a habit faster than 30 days, man.
a lot of
Real
life can
fast.
happen. I'd say I think that the overcoming part for me has always been it definitely takes me that after 2 weeks I'm ready to go all the time. By the time I've been there, by the third month I've been back in the gym again. What I've always known about myself is I start feeling guilty if I don't go.
Right, right.
It becomes more than just like, am I do what am I working on today? It wouldn't be so much that I was working on it. It's like, even if I knew I showed up and didn't give my best effort, if I didn't show up, I didn't show up. Those days were the days I should have taken my diet a little more seriously and probably given my body a break, and I would have grown better because I
Well,
pushed. I
so for
pushed.
me, I know it's gonna happen, and it's all based on the food. I mean, I tell people that all the time. That's the food. So I'll kick it in gear. I'll kick it
Yeah.
in gear. I'm gonna start it. In reality, my whole thing is even to start before January 1. I really kind of start now. Only thing I'm doing now, reason why I'm eating anything bad is because I'm just trying to clean out the refrigerator from Christmas.
Yeah.
Instead of just throwing stuff in the trash, man, I'm not gonna throw anything away like that.
Uh,
But
you know what? I didn't go anywhere. I spent Christmas with Maggie's family. Christmas Eve after church. Um, we were swinging at the pinata. I'm down there hanging out with them. I had, I think, 6 shots of tequila
uh-oh.
and a few other drinks, and they wanted me to take a swing at the pinata, and I tried to hero up on it, bro. And I had the biggest strikeout of my life. And when I swung, I lost. It was the stick was wet, and so it come out of my hands, and it hit her.
What?
Yeah, it's on video. I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, oh, what did I just do?
Oh wow.
I felt great. What a jerk. Well, and then so she moves, and then her cousin gets up, and he goes to swing at it, and he takes a big old hee haw swing at it too. And he's a big gentleman, like, what I mean? Boy's 50, 60 pound easy on me and a couple of inches.
Yeah.
Swing around through there and lost grip of it too, and threw that bat right through where she was standing too. And I was like, it's better off that you better that I hit you than he did. His went
Man.
in, yeah, his went in chest high. Mine went in on the ground. Yeah. What are you doing? So yeah, so that was fun and eventful. But I didn't take no food home. I got some little. I played Lotteria, so I got some little trinkets, little things, whatever they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Uh, there's some crazy little rewrap. You guys do that? Do they play that when you go places? No.
I don't know what that is.
And it's like Latin bingo. So they give you give you these cards and they say the names and about everything. It's actually like good because it's like flashcards for white people. So I highly recommend it to any of my white friends who want to learn a few words. Um, but also understand it becomes very competitive once they think that you understand like a word or like three different things, because then they just start going. And I'm not that fast of a bean counter, so I mean, it just didn't it didn't work out for. But I won a couple of games. I had some fun. It was good. It was a different kind of holiday, but I didn't come home with no extra foods and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
oh man, I don't eat, bro. Like that's the hardest. Like that's what I think I need it for, is because I just simply do not eat. I eat once a day. I snack.
Nah.
Listen. I get up and I snack all day long. I sit down one time a day and eat like a monster. It
Yeah.
works. It
Works for
works.
what? Works for what?
It's kept me alive.
Nah, yeah. If you want to stay alive, I mean,
No, I'm just
but
saying I've been sitting in beast mode for a little while. Like like my body, I know my body's hungry. It's like
yeah,
beat me to death, took me out the wilderness. We out here eating berries and fruits and you know grass and it ain't.
yeah. But food
I ain't treated this old dirt. I ain't treated this old dirt show good lately.
food
So,
helps us so much in the recovery process, and just the immune system and all this jazz, man, and all that stuff. It revolves around what we put inside our bodies. So you
yeah,
know, if
you
you're
can't.
putting it in there once a day, man, that's not enough. You
No,
know.
no. Well, I'm saying, but I snack. I don't eat heavy. I
Yeah,
just kind of snack multiple times a day, and
yeah. That still doesn't sound good. You just snack. It
yeah.
sounds random. Sounds very random.
Well, okay. Well, I guess it does have some sort of random cause to it. Like I get up in the morning and I have my sugar, bro. I have my sugar. I love my monsters in the morning.
So you're already out the box wrong.
First thing in the morning, bro, I eat my sugars.
Out of the box.
Sugars. And I might be kind enough myself to buy a donut or maybe a little bag of donuts, or maybe I just grab a banana, cruise through. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I have beat this. We're gonna find out how much, if it actually can be rehabbed at this point. I know the abuse these things.
No, so it can, and the good thing is that once you do start cleaning up the diet, you're gonna see a quick improvement.
Yeah,
So, like I always tell people, man, on the first week of jumping onto a diet, man, in reality, for me, I can lose 12 pounds. So, and that's the only thing that really is doing, man, it's cleaning up the diet and then walking. It has nothing to do with the gym.
can I just get like a? Can I just go get a not a colonoscopy? What's that thing called? I just go get a flush, bro. I just hate.
Whatever that is.
I just start me at 20. So if you don't want them 21-day colon cleanses, and go get
Yeah,
all.
no,
They got. Okay. So if that's the case, though, they do have. So that what I would say is we're about to wrap up because we're
yeah,
going into. I'll be back on again tomorrow. Well, I mean, we're at an hour. You good? You want to? I got to shut it down. It's gonna kick us off.
yeah. I got to shut down too, man. Look, I don't even stay up that late these
Anyway,
days.
hey, listen, guys, I got a minute. I got a minute 10. I love you. So I'll be on tomorrow. If you want to pop on, I'll send you a link if you want to. If not, I'll catch up to you then. Church does have most churches do. So everybody's going to have this like 21 days of prayer fasting thing. While you're cleaning out your body, I should recommend that you definitely take a minute to try to clear out your spirit too, and maybe pick that up while you are going to the gym and replace some things in your life that are maybe gym negative and put them back with gym positive. As much as it may sound kind of crazy, I know myself, I've changed, and I've been able to listen like praise and worship music, or at least like the genre of music that I needed. That seemed to help me out too in times that I went through it. So I really do hope that as we go into the next year, we can keep on with the show. I'm going to stay up with the days that you're away, but I really want to help that we can find some people that actually get some help out of this, because this is what it's for. Like you can't help other people unless you know how to be broken, and I'm trying to stand in front of other people and say I'm a broken man trying to be healed openly.
Right.
That's all the minister is. He's just a man up there trying to deal with God and himself and trying to help other people while he's just getting pounded through. And I think that's the deepest part, is if people around you find people who love you and care about you as much as you care about yourself. Right.
All right, we got 30 seconds left.
All right.
Pray us
I love you
out.
guys. God, I thank you for everything. Jesus, please go and be with all my friends until we bring them back again. Be blessed and always and everything that you do. May God love you and you love you too. Amen. See you.
Amen.
Bye, my friend.
All right, big dog.
Love you.
Love you, bro.